So what does your mother have to do with it? You know how old you were. Come on, Gypsy, don't be dumb. I mean, you're the one that's micro-deleting. You have the cognitive delays, not the rest of the world, Gypsy Rose. Get that through your motherfucking head. You're never going to be able to one-up us or get ahead of us because you're still way behind us. You understand? And I'm not making fun of people that have cognitive delays. I'm just saying, in her case, she's just so disgusting that she's like an exceptionally rare case that I will say something about wholeheartedly. Hello, how is everybody doing today? How are you doing today? Okay. So, hello everyone, how is everyone doing? How are your fur babies? How are your human babies? Well, you know what I mean. That sounds weird, but you know what I'm saying. We definitely have a lot to go over today. So, I come in peace. Have you guys heard about the 3-Eye Atlas stuff? There's so many people that don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about the 3-Eye Atlas. But we'll get to that, okay? We'll get to that. If you're here to hear about Miss Gypsy Rose and get on this truth train, choo-choo. My dad was a conductor of trains. So I will take on his legacy in a different kind of way and run this truth train, Gypsy fucking Rose. We are going to make sure that this truth train goes all the way. Right, guys? So if you're interested in helping me out with this truth train, share the video, like the video, push it through the algorithm, hype me out, and thank you for being here with me, bitch. I'm on one today, I tell you what. I woke up in a good mood. I woke up ready to record. And yeah, we motherfucking on, right? We gotta start where we always do, though, with member of the video, bitch. Ooh, Aaron Lee. Yes, thank you for all your super chats and the love on my channel. I really, really appreciate you. You and main chick Carrie, I just can't thank you enough. It truly is a blessing to have my community. I just can't thank you guys enough. I just absolutely love all of you. My community is so awesome. You know, and it's like, I went from being so depressed because I don't have much family and thinking I have nobody, what's my purpose? And then I started my YouTube channel. And then I started building this community. And like, everything for me has changed. And I hope that I too, in turn, give help to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate all the love on the channel. Push the video out, though. We've got to get the truth out about Gypsy Rose. You know, hype it out. Whatever you got to do. Help a girl out in this algorithm if you would. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying so hard. I'm pushing, and I'm pushing every single day. I'm hustling, bitch. We're going to get this shit going, and we're going to get so popular, Gypsy Rose is going to be running to the ground by this train. Okay, bitch. But, we got to talk about Gypsy's bad mothering. We got to talk about taking a look into Nick's appeal document because I think I discovered something. I'm not sure. And we got to talk about Becca Scoops' live stream that she had on Monday. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about from that. But I love you, Becca. You just know when to hit the spot with the shit you talk about. Oh, chef's kiss on the Gypsy Rose content. So if you're interested in watching and hearing about any of that, please stay tuned. I got a good one for you today.
Hey guys, welcome to Baby Girl's world. Those who know what they're in for. Those who don't, stay tuned, bitch.
Yeah. And then we've got 5 featured subscribers, of course. So we've got Tokyo, we've got the Ghetto's Princess, we've got Hillary, Ava, and Gina F. Also, we have a video coming up in the next couple days where I do a total deep dive and focus on Gypsy Rose's jealousy of her sister Mia. I find it to be very fascinating because I almost wonder, is Mia in danger? Should she be aware? Should she start watching it back? Oh, also, okay, before we talk about Gypsy Rose though, real quick, I wanted to point out these. I made 3 designs of sweatshirts. These are just samples. Tell me what you think about them. Tell me, any ideas you might have for other ones or t-shirts or any kind of sort. And if you're interested in any of them, I can tell you how to get one. Okay, so I will put the link in the description for these, and I don't know exactly how to get started with all that, but these are a few of my starter creations. Okay. I love the bitch one. I think I might get that one, honestly. Real quick, here's a little video of Bubba when I took him for a walk yesterday. Just a little palate cleanser before we get started, okay? Gotta have a clean palate for the Gypsy Rose bullshit, or you'll start choking.
Here we go. Bubba's taking a walk, going potty today, and it looks like, look at all the leaves. Isn't it cool? That's so pretty. I know they probably don't look as pretty on the phone, but I thought I would give a little video of him taking our little walk, our stroll he likes to do. And he's a snifferson, so he sniffs everything. He's my baby boy. I love him. Good boy. Go potty. Oh, Mama's not using her cane and I feel it. Oh. Okay, those gotta get you focused. There him is. Walking. And then he's gonna pull me over to go poop. So we're gonna have to stop the video here.
This is announcements, so pay attention. This stuff is more so for my community members and things like that. Every Thursday is live stream Thursday, okay? 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. or whatever, however long we stay on. It'll be 2 hours and more, okay? Every Thursday live stream from now on. Daily vlogs. It might just be a 10-minute vlog, 30 minutes, I don't know. But daily vlogs, members only, and they will stay members only. So if you want to become a member, you gotta pay $1.99 a month. And I give you daily vlogs, and then come December 1st, Vlogmas, Christmas time is upon us. Oh, bitch. Am I in a mood today or what? I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. If you're aggravated and you can't handle my goofiness today, I understand. I really do. But my members, you guys deserve something special just for you, So you guys get daily vlogs, and you get the Vlogmas. It's all for you, special. Okay, no one else is gonna see that shit because they don't pay the $1.99. They don't want to see my videos a day, Allie, with no ads. I guess not. But I do hope you don't become a member and then get to know me and you're like, oh my god, this bitch. Let me shut the fuck up about my bullshit here and let's get to it, right? Okay. We have Gypsy Rose to expose. Choo choo, choo 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 choo. The train is leaving the station. Someone sent me Nick Godejohn's appeal when he was doing that habeas corpus thing. I think that's how you say it. But I wanted to take a look at something here because in this document here, on June 10th, 2015 at 2:07 a.m., Nick texted Gypsy Rose informing her that he had arrived at her house and telling her to go into the bathroom. After entering victim's home and making sure that Gypsy was in the bathroom, he waited a minute and thought if he really wanted to do it. Nick then killed mother with a knife, and he and Gypsy Rose traveled to Nick's home in Wisconsin. 4 days later, the authorities discovered the victim's body and determined that she had died as a result of 14 stab wounds to her back. So this says 14, I've heard 17, whatever. Nick only admits to 4. He said, but wait a minute, there was that really deep cut. And he said, I'm only counting the deep ones. Whatever that means, I don't know. And Gypsy's tattoo on her back represents all of them, which is so fucking sick to me. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Hey guys, baby girl here. Now, as we know, these are all of the stab wounds that Dee Dee had gotten the night of her unaliving. Now, this is Gypsy Rose's tattoo on her back, and look at how all of the different, spots hit right where those stab wounds are located. We call that a trophy tattoo. Now, look, they get trophies typically to serve one or more purposes for themselves. Emotional gratification. They allow the offender to revisit the feelings they experienced during the crime. Memory triggers. They act as reminders or proof of the act, helping the killer re-experience it. Status or self-identity. Some killers see trophies as a way to commemorate their acts and reinforce their self-image. Gypsy, I think that you happen to have all 3 of these, and that's why you got your trophy tattoo. I think it's absolutely disgusting that you would do that. But unalivers do things that we don't quite understand. But one thing I do know, when an unaliver gets a trophy tattoo or has trophies of any kind to remind them of the unaliving that they helped do, they do this because they want to continue to do it and get more trophies. So let's see, Gypsy. But didn't Gypsy Rose say herself in those text messages, or at least in other documents, that her mother was unalived on the 9th and not the 10th? So was Dee Dee already gone when Nick got there and he was just supposed to take the fall? I don't know. I don't know if there's proof to that. I just know that this says at 2:07 a.m. on June 10th. Now, is she thinking that because it was the middle of the night that it was still the 9th? I don't know. It's Gypsy. She's got delayed cognitive abilities. You know what I'm saying? She's got the deletion. So, something's deleting some shit now, too, because she can't remember nothing. So, this deletion is deleting too much. You know? She can't remember her own name. Bitch. That's what your name is, Gypsy Rose. Stupid ass bitch. Fair tale
tales and fibbing. Girl, you playing with the truth. Painted halos on your story, but the cracks are breaking through. You've been running from your shadow, but your shadow's chasing you. All these lies you tell yourself don't be the ones exposing you. Yeah, you talk about the pain, but you twist it for the views. Turn a timeline to a circus, then you sell it like it's news. You keep switching up the plot like it's Netflix on demand, saying mama did you dirty, but the facts prove different. Say you sick, you weak, say you never had a choice, but the paperwork you screaming with an entire civic voice. Talking victim, talking innocent, but your jealousy be loud. You want sympathy, attention, trying to keep the biggest crowd. Fair tales and fibbing, girl, you playing with the truth. Painted halos on your story, but the cracks are breaking through. You've been running from your shadow, but your shadow's chasing you. All these lies you tell yourself won't be the ones exposing you. You say mama made you sick, then you say it maybe not, maybe, but the stories change so often I can't track the latest plot. Mia living in your head cause you a jealous ass freak. Copy past personalities like you trying to steal her name. All that poor need energy, but girl, we see the play. You ain't broken, you ain't fragile, you just bending past your way. And the spotlight that you wanted, now it's showing all the gray. You can hide behind the makeup, you can hide behind the tears, but the truth don't need a maker, it will survive 1,000 years. Every lie becomes a window and the world can see right in. Baby karma got your number and she always going. Fair tales and fibbing, girl, you playing with the truth. Pounding halos on your story, but the cracks are breaking through. You've been running from your shadow, but your shadow's chasing you. All these lies you tell yourself don't be the ones exposing you.
You know, so that's something that I really want to look up really quick here. Jump on the tiki-tock, bitch. Jump on tiki-tock, bitch. Get on this train and tell the truth about Gypsy Rose. She's a fucking bitch.
Pretty right.
Damn, let's get into it. VisionCon's now deleted website. VisionCon started out as a game day held in 1989. Gradually developing into... Because she also, mind you... kept playing a child, and men were being accused of being pedophiles for talking to her because she was, flirting with them, but she looked like a child. I mean, I guess kind of, because she does look like a child and they were flirty. But at the same time, Gypsy Rose didn't do anything about them getting into any kind of issue about it. She just let it happen. And she actually almost ruined one guy's life. In 2002, 29-year-old, twice-divorced father of one, David, also called himself Duncan, was employed as an assistant floor coordinator at VisionCon. David's previous roles at VisionCon included gopher and working security at the event. David's hobbies during the time at VisionCon appear to have included RPG role-playing games or LARP live-action role-playing, known as LARPing, interests shared by Dan Glass. And this website, I guess it's Gypsy Rose Lied About It All, Gypsy Rose Lied All About It, .com. Explains who Gypsy Rose really is, what her microdeletion is, the timeline. Okay, let's look at this real quick. Let's see if this helps me. Thank you very much for this information, by the way. It's funny that they bring up this Dr. Phil interview, because that interview was such fucking bullshit, you guys. It really truly was. Okay, this is by the Good Wives Network and the Into the Weeds podcast. All right, I see. Great people, great content, helping us push along on this truth train, right? We might not all get along, we might not all agree on everything, but one thing we do agree on is getting the truth out there, okay? We don't have to always agree on everything. We can have opposing opinions, and we can speak like adults and debate. Just like Becca Scoops says, there doesn't have to be any childish screaming and nasty behavior towards one another. Let's be adults, right? So if you have an opposing opinion to me or anybody in the comments, Let's debate about it. Let's talk about it, okay? Everyone's entitled to their own thoughts and opinions, always. I will never, ever, ever say that you're not. You know, on my channel, everyone's safe here to talk about their opinions. Unless you get to be abusive or nasty in the comments, then you will be removed. Just letting you know. Disclaimer, okay? In 2017, Dr. Phil asked Gypsy, tell me in your own words what happened that night. She answered, my mother and I had gotten into an argument 2 days before the murder. Keep that in mind. And it was about my feeding tube. Like, I no longer need this feeding tube. Can we please have it removed? And she said, no. That's not something your mom can just decide. That has to be decided by your doctor. Are you thriving enough? Are you going to be able to keep thriving? Because you're sucking on a bottle, you said, up until the day of the crime. So I don't think you were doing quite what was right for your nutrition. You know what I'm saying? Drinking a lot of soda, rotting your teeth out with Pepsi, I don't know how the fuck you were doing that shit when you had a feeding tube. What the hell are you doing? Damn. Now, I don't even think that's true, to be honest. I think Gypsy was arguing with her mother about other things, but then blamed it on that. It was really a stupid excuse, to be honest. But on Monday, June 8th, 2015, 2 days before my birthday, she killed her mother on my birthday. Thank you so much, you stupid ass bitch. 2 days before Dee Dee's murder, Gypsy was messaging Nicholas. Go to John. Now, this is what I was looking for. So, this is on 8. If you're a priority, man, they get you back there in no time. At that time, that was 2008, because for 2 years before your mother's unaliving, you were signing your own medical records and taking care of your damn self. So, what does your mother have to do with anything? Can you have it removed? You know fucking damn well you could. You know how old you were. Come on, Gypsy, don't be dumb. I mean, you're the one that's micro-deleted. You have the cognitive delays, not the rest of the world, Gypsy Rose. Get that through your motherfucking head. You're never going to be able to one-up us or get ahead of us because you're still way behind us. You understand? And I'm not making fun of people that have cognitive delays. I'm just saying, in her case, she's just so disgusting that she's like an exceptionally rare case that I will say something about wholeheartedly, because she disgustingly took her mother out of this world for no fucking reason. So any way that I can take this bitch down, I'll go for it. Don't even fucking play with me up there. I hate that shit. It's not about you. At 9:30 it says, at least it's done, so we're good for a year. Okay, it's been about her too. 9:30 p.m. It can be done even by me, but I won't unless I have to. This is not the language of someone desperate to be rid of a feeding tube. It's the language of someone who just ticked a yearly chore off the list and, kept on moving. So, I mean, that's so true right there. Gypsy continued her story to Dr. Phil, and I had an upcoming surgery and I didn't want to have it. I've had it 20 times before.
So, I think that your story has definitely brought more awareness to it, for sure. If you had to guess, how many times do you think that you've been under anesthesia?
Probably over 100, probably.
And do you know what the side effects of that?
Over 100 times. That is one of the most insane lies that I have heard Gypsy tell as of lately. Over 100. The procedures that Gypsy Rose had done, they were required because of her microdeletion. This was not, 100 different doctors that were randomly putting Gypsy under anesthesia.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 40.
I'm pretty sure 30 million. Because I had multiple eye muscle surgeries, multiple leg surgeries, multiple throat surgeries. I don't have salivary glands.
According to the unverified medical records review, along with Gypsy's own statements, we can further break down Gypsy's evasive treatments into 2 categories. Category 1, her eye surgeries, and Category 2, procedures on her gastrointestinal tract or GI tract, and one more diagnostic test called a muscle biopsy. There is no doubt that Gypsy had eye issues and needed the surgeries. In fact, Gypsy has admitted the eye surgeries were needed. That leaves the real debate and mystery, all revolving around 3 evasive procedures on her GI tract and 1 diagnostic test, the muscle biopsy. Those procedures are allegedly 1. 2004 salivary gland removal, 2. 2001 a gastroreflex laparoscopic procedure, and 3. 2001 placement and maintenance of her GI tube/feeding tube. But wait, you might be thinking, that can't be right. So this alleged horrendous medical abuse adds up to 3 procedures and 1 diagnostic test? Something isn't adding up. That's exactly what we thought. Here's how it breaks down. Gypsy had salivary gland removal along with a type of gastroreflex procedure called a Nissen fundoplication that is done laparoscopically. It's reported as a minimally invasive surgical procedure that can treat significant reflux in children. Gypsy referred to that as, quote, a surgery to make me not throw up anymore, end quote. She also had the feeding tube placed, also called a G-tube. Those 3 procedures all involve the GI tract. The only other invasive procedure/surgery Gypsy had that can be considered quote-unquote abusive allegedly was a test called a muscle biopsy that doctors ordered to rule out muscular dystrophy in 2001. We must note that muscle biopsies can be quite painful. According to our research and Gypsy's own diagram from her book, that sums up all of her alleged abusive surgery/evasive procedures. That's it. In fact, Gypsy's own diagram says, quote, drawing a diagram of my scars for Ryan was my way of being vulnerable and intimate, end quote. Here we have a close-up version of Gypsy's scars, which validates our research. 3 procedures, numbered 1, 2, 3, and 1 diagnostic test, number 4. She admits to 4 scars, 3 from procedures and 1 from a diagnostic test to her thigh. However, that's not what she told Dr. Phil.
I had multiple eye muscle surgeries, multiple leg surgeries, multiple throat surgeries. I don't have salivary glands. I'm not these anymore because they were removed.
She did have minor issues like ear tubes, asthma issues, and other normal childhood illnesses, but nowhere near 30 surgeries.
Under anesthetics 100 times. You were put. Oh, shut up, Gypsy Rose. Anyways, why do we have to have it again? According to her, Dee Dee told her there was nothing she could do because the doctor wanted it. So yeah, I mean, that's not her choice. She'll go against medical advice. And then what? Then you unalive her and say she didn't do enough for you medically and that was abuse? I mean, I don't know what, And then no pre-op assessments, no upcoming procedures, nothing. In her memoir, Gypsy never one to miss an opportunity for melodrama, referred to the so-called upcoming surgery to address her squeaky voice as my mother tried to cut my throat. If that's not a fucking bitch. Reality, though, on April 11th, 2009, Gypsy had a 5-minute. The morning Nick was due to board the Greyhound bus to Springfield, a journey he believed was to save Gypsy from immediate danger, right? He thought that she was, being chained to a bed, constantly abused, constantly being medically. Well, actually, she didn't even know or think about the medical stuff as abuse at that time. That was, not the case. She didn't even have that in her brain at this time, right? That was brought up by her lawyer. Okay. So, 4:11 a.m., she messaged him, I was made to sleep on the front porch with bugs. Really? 4:12 a.m., I peed in the bushes. It's been rough. Oh my God. Come on now. Shut the fuck up. Dee Dee Blanchard, a woman with a mowed lawn and fierce grip on appearances, suddenly just rolled her adult daughter on the front porch for the neighborhood to gawk at. Really? For context, just over a week earlier, Gypsy had told Nick in a casual chat, "By the way, I'm afraid of bugs, just so you know." Nick reassured her. She replied, "I'm just letting you know my phobia. It's bugs and spiders." Nick then admitted his own fear, "Your freakouts." Knowing what we do now, Gypsy's last-minute bugs message reads like strategy. A calculated push to squash any doubt in Nick's mind and increase the urgency of her so-called rescue. It worked. Now, if Dee Dee was pushing you out, Gypsy, and she put you out on the porch and she wanted you out and said, you even said that you had your bags packed because your mom wanted you to be kicked out. And then all of a sudden, you can't get away. And it's this urgent need for him to come and unalive her because there's no other fucking way you can get away. Even though you can walk, you're on the porch, you're outside. Why didn't you leave and go get help? A supplementary police report following Nick's interview notes Gypsy had been kicked out of her mother's home and he was worried sick about her. Damn! Just what I said before I even read it. You know what I'm saying? That's the fucking truth. Gypsy Rose had every motherfucking opportunity to leave that home several times. And like the time that she ran away in 2011 to go be with a guy, when her mother found out she could walk, they found out about the microdeletion. I don't know what Gypsy, what was going through her mind, but she ran away to go to Dan Glidewell's house, and his roommates called and said, "Come get this bitch." Oh wait, no credible evidence supports the eviction claim though. But if Dee Dee had finally run out of patience with the volatile, deceitful 23-year-old in her care, it would be hard to blame her. And here's the part Gypsy left out of her damsel in distress routine. She had access to cash, so here's other, ways that she could have left. She had a free bus pass to the Greyhound station. She had 2 fully functioning legs, obviously. She could have left. Very much so. On several fucking occasions. And you talk about how it bothered you so much to be doing that. You went into the Special Olympics. You seemed happy as hell. I have a video right here. Look at this childhood. Does this childhood look at all like Gypsy Rose was suffering? Watch.
But Gypsy never went outside. She never went to the beach. Never felt the light on her face. Never, just for a brief second, felt the sun. Kept away in her dungeon from everyone. Her own father. Her own family. Her own flesh and blood. Her mother controlled everything. No friends. No one else even knew she existed. Misery was her only companion. She was never celebrated. She didn't know how old she was. Never allowed to eat. Never allowed outside of the house. Is it a Monday or is it a Wednesday? She didn't know anything. She was so miserable. Barbies? What are Barbies? Anyone can see that she's suffering. She's in misery and pain, in agony. Look at her, screaming out for help. Shining through the tears.
She could have asked for help, but instead she stayed right there, waiting for her Prince Charming to come unalive the monster in the home and rescue her, take her away. Oh, what the fuck, Gypsy Rose? Your mother was ill. She needed you. But instead of being there for her like she had always been there for your dumb ass, you took her fucking life. And you should pay for the rest of yours for what you did. Girl is down to 229 pounds, okay? Your girl is almost to her goal weight. I'm so excited because, okay, you guys got to think though, I'm 6 foot tall. So, you know, my goal weight's like 180 pounds. I like to have a little bit of pudge, you know, and then hopefully I can get a little bit of skin removal in my stomach area. I'm so excited. But that's besides the point. We're talking about Gypsy. You know who you are, who sent this, and I'm so happy you did because this website is awesome for the timeline. So, waiting for the man she had spent months manipulating. Well, actually, like a couple of years, if you think about it. A man with clear cognitive impairments. Gypsy Rose, worse than yours. Okay? He couldn't help it. He thought he was saving your fucking life. You used him. You took that man's... You knew that he had the delays that he had. You can tell. You can tell just by him talking in interviews or during the interrogation. Okay? I'm not saying anything bad or making fun of him. I'm just saying that you can tell. Okay? And Gypsy Rose decided that that was her window of opportunity. I can manipulate this man because he doesn't know the difference. And that's sick. You knew what you were doing the whole time. So you didn't take just one life that night. You took his, and then later on, when his own mother unalived herself because of her sorrow for her son, that's on your shoulders too, in my eyes, bitch. That's why you make me so fucking sick. Because you sit there after you did what you did and you desecrate that woman's name into the ground. That's awful. She gave birth to your ugly fucking ass. In 2024, Gypsy claims the decision to murder Dee Dee was made in May of 2015. Allegedly because Dee Dee was about to force her into surgery on her larynx, which is not true, to fix her squeaky voice. Even the most ardent Gypsy apologists, who surely knows she's always claimed the murder plot began after her March 2015 cinema outing with Nicholas Godejohn, which is in itself untrue, are going to have trouble swallowing this latest rewrite. Let's be clear, this isn't just a faulty memory. It's a wholesale rebranding of an origin story served up nearly a decade later. As if that weren't enough, Gypsy's book also includes a letter she allegedly wrote to Dee Dee in 2018 from prison, lifted straight from her cloying self-mythologizing volume, Conversations on the Eve of Freedom, or as the rest of us might call it, Melissa Moore sniffing around for a paycheck. Monday, June 8th, 2015, Nicholas Godejohn left his home in Big Bend, Wisconsin to catch a Greyhound bus to Springfield. His stepfather, Charles Goldhammer, later said Nick hadn't told them about his trip in advance. Instead, he'd left a note on his bed saying he was going to collect Gypsy. News of Gypsy's imminent rescue came as a complete surprise to Nick's mom and stepfather. So they couldn't even talk him out of it. Because you know why? Gypsy Rose probably told him, don't tell. Don't tell them. They'll try to get you not to come. Nick's bus departed Wisconsin around 3:30 p.m. While he waited to board, Gypsy sent him a message. At 1:45 p.m., making up a song, On the Road to Destiny, la la la. The trip wasn't funded by Nick's savings. There weren't any. As usual, Gypsy had stolen money from Dee Dee and mailed it to him to pay for the bus fare and hotel stay. Nick purchased his return ticket in advance and kept the rest for expenses. Dee Dee unknowingly had just financed her own murder. You don't ever go to bed thinking that your own daughter, your own flesh and blood is going to take your life. I mean, as a mom, you just don't. Dee Dee, you should have woke up a little bit and seen your daughter was being a little bit crazed and violent and she needed help. She should have been put in crisis under a chapter or something like that. But Dee Dee didn't do that. But it's possible that Dee Dee just either, didn't want to take the time because, she was such a pusher to Gypsy going to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Even though she was suffering with these violent behaviors and Dee Dee didn't do anything about it. Unless she did and we don't know about it. I don't see that though, and there's no proof of that. In Mommy Dead and Dearest in 2017, Gypsy later claimed, I managed to scrape up enough money to pay for him a ticket. Scrape up. You got $4,000 out of the safe. What are you talking about? Dumbass. No, she did what she always did when she needed money. She took it from the very woman who was plotting to have killed. Nick and Gypsy messaged almost constantly during the trip. He arrived in Springfield on Tuesday, June 9th at 5:36 a.m. That evening, he got a Facebook message from a friend he called Sis. She asked how he was. Nick said he was okay and on his way to get Gypsy. Nick jumped between chatting with Sis and messaging Gypsy, sometimes speaking to Gypsy in third person as Victor, while speaking to Sis as himself. 8:46 p.m. Sis, are you home right now? Before this, Nick asked Gypsy if Dee Dee's bedroom floor squeaked. Victor wants to know. She replied that the room was carpeted, then added at 8:51 p.m. my private parts are shaved. Gypsy Rose, come on. You don't have to tell him. He'll figure it out. Then Nick, as Victor, said he was excited about what he was going to do, murder Dee Dee, and asked if she had shaved elsewhere as well. At 8:53 p.m., Nick told Sis things weren't cool with Dee Dee, claiming mother and daughter argued daily. He said Gypsy was packing. Sis asked how Gypsy planned to leave the house. She appeared to believe that Gypsy was running away with Nick, not that the murder was. At 8:54 p.m., Gypsy told Nick she had shaved her legs after he arrived. 8:55 p.m., Nick told Gypsy not to be afraid when she heard Victor speak. His voice sounded evil. At 8:56 p.m., Nick told Sis that Gypsy would either walk or sneak out. Gypsy told Nick she was going to get something to eat. Now, if you are able to sneak out, as he's saying, then there's another way you could have gotten out to get help. You had a laptop, you had a phone, you had all of these options. Yet, you sit in front of people, you sat under oath and said that was the only fucking way that you could get away from her. And that's such bullshit. Such bullshit. Now, in that document for the appeal, though, it said 2:07 a.m. So I'm not sure where that fits in or if it's coming up. But Gypsy told Nick she was going to get something to eat. Nick told Sis he was prepared to get involved if the plan went wrong. The conversation with Sis frizzled, and Nick and Gypsy moved back into their own private planning, a mixture of murder logistics and sexual roleplay involving their alter egos, Victor and Ruby. Now, Ruby didn't even come into play until late. I believe that was her way of connecting with Victor, kind of like, Harley Quinn and the Joker. You know what I'm saying? Gypsy Rose thinks of all of this like a movie, I feel like. Like, this doesn't occur to her that this is actually real life, and this is actually what you're fucking choosing to do. It wasn't until you're fucking sitting in a jail cell that it's dawning on you what you actually did. And that's crazy to me. That you planned this out and stuck with it. It's one thing to say, hey, I hate this motherfucker. I wish him dead. And even though you should never say that, you shouldn't. I don't believe in that. But you don't have the intention of actually following through. Gypsy Rose, you stood there patiently and you kept up with the plan. You never skipped a beat. And that's what's so fucked up. You actually followed through. It wasn't your fault, right? It was Nick. I forgot. Nick decided one day, I'm going to find this girl online. I'm going to go fucking kill her mom. Part of the plan was for Victor to grape Ruby, right? After Dee Dee's death. But it wasn't supposed to be real. A fantasy grape roleplay. Gypsy would later recast this as an actual grape. But at the time, her messages showed no fear or reluctance, and she even admitted under oath that it was role-playing. Minutes before Nick called to taxi to Dee Dee's house, Gypsy messaged him, 1:29 a.m. Will he, Victor, allow me to wet your penis before he takes me, hon? I don't know if he's going to do anal or vag. I was hoping to do anal. Oh. Sorry. Okay. Dr. Phil later confronted Gypsy about the messages. At any point, did you think this is beyond strange? You're talking to a guy who is talking about himself in the third person, mind you, saying he's a 500-year-old vampire and he's glad your mother's a light sleeper so she'll be awake when he hacks her to death. Now, I'm not saying that Nick's all there, okay? I'm just saying that Gypsy Rose took advantage of that fact about him. And she kind of helped him create this 500-year-old fucking vampire that he pretended to be. Nobody really knew about this Victor until Gypsy fucking Rose. And then Gypsy's response, to be honest, I didn't even think it was real. I became numb to the idea, like, oh, okay, we're just having another conversation about it. Except she wasn't just having a conversation. She was plotting and planning a premeditated unaliving of her own mother. That's May 29th at 2015 at 9:44 p.m. Gypsy messaged Nick, "Darling, can you please meet me online? We need to talk about our plan." Oh, gee, are you writing it out? Do you got like an outline here? Or what? Shaving her genitals while her chosen killer rode a Greyhound toward her, ticket paid for stolen money. That's not numb, okay? That's preparation. H. And Googling how to remove the smell of a dead body. Why would you do that? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Oh, well, don't answer. That's not a step towards planning. That's standing at the edge of the cliff ready to fucking push. Good writing on this one. And no matter what, I'm yours forevermore. I love and adore and worship you, my everything. For somebody supposedly terrified for her life by this man, she seemed remarkably adept at keeping her co-conspirator emotionally locked in, right? Gypsy Rose was stealing her mom's, pain medications and stuff, and it says here, during a review of the FOIA files on Into the Weeds podcast, April 2025, an observant viewer noted the bathroom medicine cabinet bore only a latch with a loose hasp and screws lying nearby, as if a lock was about to be installed. She couldn't have that, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was a driver. If she is actually addicted to the pills like she says, that could have been a huge motivation for what she did as well. At 1:08 a.m., Gypsy texted Nick, "It's getting close to time." She took her sleep pill. At 1:09 a.m., she warned, "Once you're inside the house, we'll stay silent until I open the bathroom door." Odd, then, that in her 2024 memoir, she claims to have answered the door to Nick in her noisy electric wheelchair to avoid waking Dee Dee. In the same Dee Dee she just said was asleep from a sleep aid she hadn't taken. The autopsy confirmed that Dee Dee had no such medication in her system. Gypsy had lied. Again. Got a plea deal and didn't need him anymore. There would be no reason for it unless he's just fascinated by her fucking microdeletion. You know what I'm saying? I would rather listen to Becca Scoops, who's intelligent and has an education, than ever listen to Bree. Oh, God, she makes me ill. Listening to her voice, listening to her sit here, and she doesn't, it's not like she gets on here and she does anything that's going to be helpful to Gypsy. She usually digs Gypsy a deeper fucking hole. So
last night, Gypsy's best friend Bree did a live where she sang about the 12 days of Christmas and tried to connect it to Becca Scoops. Now, she didn't make it through all 12 days and she was trying really hard. However, I noticed everything she said could oddly be tied back to her little bestie Gypsy. So let's go through what she said and how it ties back.
Oh, we gotta start from the first day, right? On the first day of Christmas, Becca brought to me one like a ding.
That's an interesting choice, because didn't your friend Gypsy take her mama's prescription to Dan Glidewell? Yeah, she did. Let's go to the next one.
On the second day of Christmas, Becca gave to me, two 2 full bottles.
Like the 2 bottles your bestie took with her to Nick's house after they committed the crime? Let's see what's next.
On the 3rd day of Christmas, Becca brought to me 3 loose teeth.
Not your bestie's teeth needing to be extracted. Regrettably, we are going to continue though.
4 teeth are rotting.
Let's go back to this one where she has dental caries. This is exhausting, but there's one more I wanted to show you.
5. Didn't she use 5 aliases, or what was the 5?
5 aliases. It's funny you would mention aliases because we have Ruby, Candy, Kitty, Harley Quinn, or whatever the fuck this is, and Anastasia Steele. So congratulations, Bree. You have your 5 aliases, your 4 rotten teeth, the loose teeth, pill bottles, and giving away medicine that isn't yours. I just know that Gypsy is so proud to finally have a song written about her that wasn't done using AI. Instead, it was done by a very ambitious herd of half-wits.
Go on with your bad self, girl. Get her, Becca. Get her, Becca.
Here's the part that's important, what she's going to say now. So if you guys don't know, most of you do, but I'll just go over it really quick. There was one doctor, Dr. Flasterstein, I think, that he's the one that mentioned Munchausen by proxy with Dee Dee. And this is what she's going to be now talking about, okay? She's going to give you her expert opinion about this.
Having this medication in her, this time, this is when she's really pushing for like it to go up in dosage, and all of a sudden, this is when she's trying to get this diagnosed. And if you go look up those medications, those things exactly point to what would cause that. It's insane, y'all. When I tell y'all, I wish that people would sit back in the day. I don't do it anymore. When I used to sit on lives and try to break this down, everybody just wanted to be haters instead of like listening. You will be blown away. It's very interesting, and it helps you learn the mind of these people that do this, because Munchausen by proxy is not just it's the exaggeration, the fabrication, and inducing. It's all 3 of those things. So on that paper that talks about the tegretol not being in the system, okay, at the bottom it says, strong possibility of Munchausen by proxy. Everybody's always like, what about the next line? I'm so sick of people saying that. Okay, so the next line doesn't say or, it says with maybe some unknown underlying etiology or something. And what that means, people take that as a meaning, or maybe there's an underlying cause that we don't know. No. With maybe some underlying. You know what that means? That is like the fucking definition, basically, of Munchausen by proxy.
This doctor said that he suspected Dee Dee had Munchausen by proxy. Let me bring up the actual quote, okay? But he added that there's a possibility of Munchausen by proxy with some unknown etiology for the symptoms. He's talking about Gypsy. Bree thinks he's talking about Dee Dee. No, that's not how it reads. And so I'm going to show you. Let me just finish off what she's going to say, just so she can get her full explanation out.
Maybe some underlying. You know what that means? That is like the fucking definition, basically, of Munchausen by proxy. Taking something, so many victims, this is what happens. They have a child that has this sickness, that has the diagnosis that is like not affecting them at all, but something in their brain. Now, not someone who malingers, someone who has a mental illness. It triggers something in their brain when you combine it with all the trauma. And they, from there, will take this one little thing and begin to grow it. And so imagine like a tree of things. That's exactly what that means. Some unknown. So
she couldn't be more wrong. Let me go ahead and prove that to you. Okay, here. Can you guys see that? Here is the quote that she's talking about. Here's what she thinks it reads. This is what the doctor wrote. Analyzing all the facts, and after talking to her previous pediatrician, there is a strong possibility of Munchausen by proxy, with maybe some underlying unknown etiology to explain for her symptoms. Bree thinks the second part of this, with maybe some underlying unknown etiology to explain for her symptoms, she said, that's the very definition of Munchausen by proxy. He's saying that Dee Dee's making up symptoms. No, that is so wrong. No, that's not what it says. That's not what it says at all. It's very simple what he's saying here. Okay, let me tell you what he's saying. What she says makes no sense, but she thinks this is a really big deal, and Gypsy was really excited about this point too. So Here's what it says. After analyzing all the facts, after talking to Gypsy's previous pediatrician, so he's getting notes about Gypsy from her previous doctor, there is a strong possibility of Munchausen by proxy, with maybe some underlying unknown etiology to explain for her symptoms. Whose symptoms? Gypsy's symptoms. What he's saying is, yes, maybe this is Munchausen by proxy. But there's also this girl who has these symptoms of unknown cause. I don't know what's causing these symptoms, but yes, the mother could have Munchausen, but with some underlying unknown etiology to explain for her symptoms, to explain for Gypsy's symptoms, meaning, yes, the mom could have Munchausen, but the daughter also has some legitimate symptoms.
Not with us. Not with us, Becca. We know what you are. We know how truthful you are and how educated you are. So you don't have to explain it to us ever. And you never should have to explain it because everyone sees right through Bree and her bullshit. I hope you know that, Becca. No, because she saw... What it is that Bree saw a clip and then was like, oh, that's all she said. She didn't even listen to the whole thing. She's so fucking like... I swear she's got to be on meth. The bitch is like... Or coke or something. And that's probably where Gypsy and Ken get it from, too. Honestly, because this bitch is bouncing off the fucking walls, so excited to tell us some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? She talks out of her fucking ass and sits there and tries to argue with people with the actual education as if what she's saying is ever going to make sense to them. You know what I mean?
It does hurt my feelings a little bit whenever people do call me a danger, because I want to make clear, I was a part of the crime, but I didn't commit the act. And I think that is what people need to like really remember. So I paid my dues. I did my time for my part of things. Right. Now let me live my life and just grow as a person. Everybody deserves a second chance.
I understand that you're a fair judge. I've heard it from both my attorneys. And all I ask is just for mercy, please. Is what? Mercy of any form. That's all I ask.
Gypsy Blanchard committed this murder for one reason, and Nicholas Godejohn committed it for other reasons.
This is why Gypsy was given a deal.
Given the unique facts of this case, that's why we pled it to murder in the second degree in her case. Those mitigating factors don't exist for Nicholas Godejohn.
What would happen if the mainstream media started reporting the truth in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case? We are pretty certain her co-defendant, Nicholas Godejohn, would become a hot topic everywhere, and his plight would be seen as totally unjust. Nicholas Godejohn was Gypsy Rose Blanchard's internet boyfriend. Over a 2-year period, Gypsy manipulated Nick through enticements and alleged coercive control to assist her in carrying out the murder of her mother, Claudia Blanchard. Welcome to Becca Scoops. My partner is a veteran detective, and I'm Becca, a psych and ICU RN. And this video will bring you 5 truths about the infamous case Gypsy Rose Blanchard hopes you never see. We will explain how Nicholas Godejohn became the sacrificial lamb in place of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Stay tuned. This is going to be a bumpy ride. Number 1. The media has mass reported Gypsy Rose Blanchard's mother had a disorder called Munchausen by proxy. This is not true. To understand how Nicholas Godejohn got screwed by the justice system, we have to explain a few things about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Thanks to the mainstream media, most people believe Gypsy Rose Blanchard was systematically, medically abused for years by her mother, Claudia Dee Blanchard. The media has mass reported Dee had a disorder called Munchausen by proxy. However, the truth is her mother was never diagnosed with that disorder. It's also called factitious disorder imposed by another. In fact, according to Dee Blanchard's official autopsy, which includes her entire medical history, Dee was never diagnosed with any mental illness. This might be the most inconvenient truth that keeps Gypsy Rose up at night. She knows Dee Dee was never diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy. Thus, there was never any clear-cut proof Gypsy was being systematically abused, and she had no reason then to plot her mother's demise. One big red herring revolves around Dr. Mark Feldman, who claimed Dee Dee had Munchausen by proxy after she was deceased.
As soon as I was aware of the case, I started searching the internet and trying to acquire all the information I could. And it became one of the least difficult cases I've ever seen in establishing this as Munchausen by proxy, which is when people make others under their control either sick or lie about their illnesses or exaggerate their illnesses, all to get some kind of emotional gratification for themselves.
Notice Feldman admits he searched the internet to find out facts about the case. Well, this is just ludicrous. Doctors don't search the internet to diagnose someone with a rare disorder. In fact, Feldman had never treated Dee Dee Blanchard. He was brought into the case by HBO, who were working closely with the Blanchards to make a pro-Gypsy documentary. Feldman was paid handsomely for his so-called opinion on Dee Dee Blanchard. That's when the mainstream media picked up on Feldman's so-called diagnosis. This is one way the fallacy that Dee Dee was diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy got spread. Additionally, right after Gypsy was arrested, her public defender Mike Stanfield set out to come up with a strategy to convince the district attorney not to seek the death penalty. That's right, the death penalty was on the table for Gypsy Rose.
All of us involved are, it's relief. At the very beginning of this, there was the question of the death penalty on the table. Ultimately, it's the best outcome for her, it's the best outcome for the state of Missouri, and ultimately the right thing to do for everybody.
However, what's quite telling is the fact Gypsy never mentions this so-called medical abuse during her intense interrogation. The detective pushes Gypsy up against the wall, informing her they are aware she knows something about her mother's demise. Instead, Gypsy's instincts are to throw her boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, under the bus.
Like, she's over here just trying to debunk something that just is silly to me. Like, he wouldn't, like Becca said, he's not going to sit there and go over records when he's got other fucking shit to do that he doesn't have to go over because there's a plea deal. There's nothing for him to do. Her case is not that motherfucking fascinating that a doctor is going to completely wipe his schedule and say, Gypsy Rose's medical records, let me review them. Shut up, Bree. She lied in those documentaries, just about all of them. But you guys base all of your facts out there, those supporters of Gypsy, on these documentaries that she herself stated she lied in.
Everyone who believed Gypsy Rose saying that Nick Godejohn raped her, she admits she lied about that. 2018, Gypsy Rose does a deposition before Nick's trial. She is asked, on Dr. Phil, did you tell the truth? She says to some extent. She is then asked, to what extent did you not tell the truth? My feelings about the night that my mother's murder happened. Schmecks that happened between both of us after the schmurder happened. So you lied about that? Yes. Did you tell him it was grape? Yes, that he graped you. And in fact, he hadn't graped you. It was a great fantasy. It was a great fantasy, but not an actual grape, correct? Correct. Then you were interviewed by HBO. And this fucking answer is just, She says yes, she was interviewed by HBO. Do you remember that? Barely. It's been 3 years. It was almost 3 years for the Dr. Phil interview they were talking about. She remembered that shit. I know, and I apologize for going back that far. Parts where you were interviewed. Did you tell the truth? I believe so. I want to say so. I don't remember. The fact that Gypsy Rose just flat out said she does not remember if she told the truth in her HBO documentary, Mommy, Dad, and Dearest. So for all y'all believe in them gassed up documentaries, I've been fucking telling you, man. But anyway, she says, I never got to see it, so I don't even remember what I said back then. Lies. That's why you don't fucking remember, because if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. I mean, Gypsy also wrote a letter saying she wanted to be of any assistance to the defense that she could. Of course, we know she got up on that fucking stand and lied. Let's read this anyway. Why did you write that letter? I took a class at the institution. You mean in fucking prison, girl? It's called ICBC. It stands for Impact of Crimes on Victims. Gypsy said it brings you to a new level of accountability with your crime. She had to put aside her feelings about Nick and about whatever it was that I was resenting him for. I told y'all she was resenting that man and realized that I created a victim out of him too. Not only out of my mother, but out of him too. You're supposed to write this letter from your victim to you, then you write the letter to your victim. She said, this is not a pretty letter, so I just wanted to take accountability for my actions and what led me here. I understand that my mother was the primary victim, but I also created a victim out of Nick himself. And I just don't think it's fair for me to be sitting here and say that it's fair for him to go to prison for the rest of his life. What do you think would be fair for him? 15 years. That's what Gypsy said would be fair for Nick. So just a little over what you have. Just a little more time than me, just because he actually did the actual... Crazy how she says all this and then in his trial switches the fuck up on him. Any of the interviews, did you ever tell the truth? Some. Flat out tells y'all she lied. She even says it in one of her documentaries. I haven't been completely honest with anybody. Not even my attorneys. That's what she said. Says I'm talking about the TV interviews. Any of these TV interviews you did, in fact, tell the whole truth? No. She fucking says she did not tell the whole truth in any of these documentaries, any of these interviews. So you've always left stuff out. She says, yep, omitted something at all times, per the usual fucking Gypsy Rose. How she omitted the fact she had a microdeletion until she couldn't anymore. And obviously today you're telling the truth though. Yeah, I got this from MPG Cornerstone. They have great fucking documents. Please go follow them. All this isn't alleged. It is for entertainment purposes only. Some of my opinions. I got that shit from her deposition.
So, I don't know about you, but I don't like to sit there and waste my time on liars. See, intelligent people, Bree, they work smarter, not harder. So, he's not going to go out of his way in his busy life as a doctor and say, oh, I'm going to go over these because Gypsy Rose is so fascinating. Get a life, Bree. We have to be able to take constructive criticism. If somebody, even me, if I say something that is not factual and you know it, and I have, misunderstood it or said it wrong or however, let me know. I mean, you don't have to be rude about it, but just be like, hey, constructive criticism helps us learn, helps us grow as people. And I admire Becca Scoops because of her intelligence, and I look up to her for my content because I want my content to always be real and true and always authentic for you guys. I will never come on here and act a fool. Well, I act a fool, but you know what I'm saying. Sit here lying to you guys or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What I say is something that I have tried to research on my own. And if I say it, I believe it. And if it's wrong, then I need to be told and shown why it's wrong. That's how I feel. I don't feel we should argue about it or get nasty with each other, ever. We're supposed to love each other. We're against her, not each other. But having tension with each other is not going to help the situation. So like Becca said, let's be adults. Let's just try to help each other. We're all investigating together. It's like having a little mini police force here on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like we are all investigating this together. Let's help each other out. Let's be there for one another, I have a great community, though. You guys are always there for me, and I love you. I love you guys so much. Give me a damn hug right now. I love you so fucking much. Okay, sorry. All right, I'll shut up. Right. Yes. Who knows? Damn it. Right. This is about the leukemia. But no, okay, about these medical records and what it says about the leukemia. It's interesting when you start to really realize the wording of stuff and, you know, like, oh, it's worded like this, so, you know, it means it this way, rather than definitively being like, oh, it's this, you know, this is what it, you know what I'm saying? Because medical records are a lot like court documents. The wording means a lot. And then we'll end the video, and I want you guys to stay tuned and be watching for my video on her and her relationship with her sister Mia. It's gonna be a fucking good one, bitch. Oh yeah, truth train, choo choo. Yeah, you do have microdeletion, Gypsy Rose, and you have most of the symptoms of it, but yet you claim to have barely any. Like, come on, bitch. You literally have every gosh darn symptom of the fucking microdeletion that you could have, because it's not just one part of your chromosome that's affected, it's 20.
The fact that Gypsy Rose is perfectly healthy now is proof that her mother medically abused her. That's the comment I get the most. Only, she's not perfectly healthy now. And there's proof. First, there's this. Do you see all the medicine in the bag? That was on her show. A healthy person does not have a bag with medicines in it. Let's also not forget this walk, which she said was because of a blister. I'm curious, did she have the same exact blister the day she walked out of Nick's trial? Because, we have that same walk again. Are we also conveniently going to forget this?
You have microdeletion 1q21.1. It's a chromosomal change in which a small piece of chromosome 1 is deleted in each cell. This increases the risk of delayed development, intellectual disability, physical abnormalities, and neurological and psychiatric problems. But
that's not a healthy person. That's a person trying to convince you she is healthy, because she knows her mother was getting her treatment for symptoms she had because of her microdeletion 1q21.1.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard was not abused. You guys remember when she made this video explaining her microdeletion? You know what she left out and didn't tell y'all? Her microdeletion, the size of it, isn't like, oh, it's just the common size of the microdeletion 1q21.1. Microdeletion is a mega-based size microdeletion. It is much larger than the commonly sized 1q21.1 microdeletion. She got on here and was like, I really do have it. She didn't tell y'all the first case wasn't found till 2008. She didn't tell y'all that hers wasn't diagnosed till 2011. She didn't tell y'all, so there really was no blueprint for my mom to go off of. In her own documentary, her grandfather said when she was a baby, she was put on a monitor. It kept track of her breathing, and when she would stop breathing, him and Dee Dee would have to go wake her up to start her breathing again and to get the machine to go off. Her eye, that was clearly turned all the fucking way in because she had strabismus. I hope I said that right. She had multiple surgeries on her eye. Had she had not had those surgeries, she would probably be fucking blind today. Salivary glands, she did not have all of them motherfuckers removed. I don't know how y'all believe that when she's constantly... And if you Google how many salivary glands we have, you'll figure out she was lying. Real quick, fast, in a hurry, friend. She is very good about hopping on this internet and acting like she's transparent. She tells you what she wants you to hear. The only disabilities from her microdeletion that she admitted to are the ones we can see. Any of the ones that we wouldn't be able to see, she won't admit to it, but they are in her fucking medical records. When you look up the symptoms for the microdeletion, oh wow, she has all of them, or had all of them. Like I said, her mom couldn't use a blueprint because no cases were documented till 2008. People say, well, she doesn't have epilepsy now. Epilepsy can be grown out of. If you look up, can people grow out of the symptoms from microdeletion 1q2.11? You know what I'm saying? Yes. As people grow, they can grow out of those symptoms, especially when they've gotten help early on. The only treatment for her microdeletion is treating the symptoms. That's it. That's all they can do. That's exactly what Dee Dee did.
You have, what I believe you have is schizophrenia, and that a lot of your actions are because of that. Maybe you don't have that, maybe it's something else, but your microdeletion has an issue or has a tendency to cause mental issues as well. Also, your microcephaly, because your head is small and the pressure on your brain can cause mental issues, Gypsy Rose. I'm not joking around. That's the honest to God truth. My opinion, too. My video is also for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only, and it's all my opinion. Bitch. Huh. But that's the end of this video today. This is a long one. I'm sorry. But truth train, right? We got to get it out there. And I hope to God that somebody is watching that has a big following that can help push the truth train. Let's go. Choo, choo. Yes. Remember, things are not always what they seem.